So for today's video, we're going to be creating a data structure. It's going to be a double-ended queue or a deque. Doesn't really matter what you want to call it. So the class name is going to be struct. And since it's going to be an abstract data type, data structure, we're just going to create an array. It's just going to be integers, and we're going to keep track of the count. So it's going to be integer as well. And we're not going to create a default constructor. We're just going to go about our own. We're going to get a value of size to determine how big our array should be. New and size. And then we're going to initialize count to 0. Alrighty, so most of our methods are going to use we're going to check if the array is full or empty, and we're going to do that through having those methods. So it's going to be public boolean. It's going to return false or true whether or not it's empty or full, and it's going to do so based on whether or not the count is greater than or equal to the data, our array's length. And we're basically going to do the same thing to check if it's empty. Except it's going to return true if count is less than or equal to 0. That means there's nothing in our array, just garbage. And so a deque you can insert in the beginning or the end, and as well as remove. So let's go add last first. And we're going to receive a value to add to the array. And first thing we're going to do is check if our array is full. And we got to make sure it's false. Make sure it's not full in there. And because we're adding to the end, all we have to do is do array sub count, because count points to the next one that's available, is equal to value. And we got to increase the count anytime we mess with our array. And if it returns true if it is full, then we got to throw new illegal state exception, and let the user know that the array is full. Alright, so now that we added to the end, let's go ahead and add to the beginning. I'm going to receive a value this time as well. If it's not full, continue on. As long as it's not full. So because we're adding to the beginning, we're going to have to shift every element over to the right. And we know we can do that because it's not full. And we do this to open up that first spot. So first off, we gotta shift everything. We're gonna start from the top. Otherwise, we can have duplicates. Data sub I is equal to data sub I minus 1. And once that's done, our first element should be free to use, so we're going to go ahead and use it, and we're going to set it equal to our value that we received. And because we did all that, we have to increase the count. And if it is full, then we go ahead and do the same thing again. Alrighty, so we added to the beginning, we added to the end. Now let's remove from the beginning. And since we're removing, let's go ahead and return whatever it is that we're removing. We're not going to receive anything. And we know our first remove first is going to grab the first element in our array. So let's just create a temporary variable. And since we're taking that one out, we can shift everything to the left. And since the count is technically now one less, let's just do minus 1. Alrighty. So now we're gonna shift everything to the left. After that's all done, we can decrease the count by 1. And then go ahead and do what we were doing before. That's right, we have to return the value, so return temp. And oh, we forgot to check if it's empty. As long as it's not empty, go ahead. And if it is empty, throw new equals state exception. Let the user know it's full, or I mean it's empty. Alright, so remove first is now good. So now let's go ahead and remove the last element. So return an integer, so I'm going to return that value. As long as it's not empty, integer temp is going to be equal to array sub count minus 1, because count's pointing to the next one that's open, which is basically just garbage, has a value that is garbage. And then we're going to decrease the count. So then we're going to return temp. And if it is full, let's let the user know. And let's see, what else? We can have getter methods to get the head of our array, or we can get the tail. But those are fairly simple, and I think you guys can handle that. Alrighty guys, well, that's it for this one.